why are we throwing away food, ingredients? Why are we not utilizing it? Why are we not helping people?
When you can fly down a celebrity, you can spend a little more time
Absolutely.
organizing, distributing that food.
Absolutely.
Get someone to help you
Yes,
distribute it.
absolutely. Run like a Seva kitchen. I don't know. Like you can do so many initiatives.
Distribute. It's very easy.
Absolutely.
Distribute the food.
We are a country where people are hungry.
Mm.
We are literally a country where people need food. It's not like a
There's some
level.
101 in hunger index.
Absolutely. Why are we? What gives us a right to throw the food in the bin?
So welcome to the third episode of Kaapi with Kiran. I'm beginning to like the sound of the name, and here we are with someone really special. We just finished a pop-up with her. I was delighted to eat some gorgeous food, plant-forward, good-looking, tasty, flavorful food, and we thought we have to have a conversation with her. Welcome, Surabhi.
Thank you, Kiran.
Thank you for coming all the way from Dubai, and we've been planning this for a while, and here we are.
Yes, thank you for having me. I had a great time. We enjoyed thoroughly. We're exhausted, but we're so happy.
I thought you're looking fresh.
Yeah, thank you. We've hardly
looking,
slept, but
very, very fresh. I see the energy.
yeah, I think
you know.
because we really enjoyed the whole experience of being here and working with the chefs and the whole team. It was fun. We had a few hiccups, but we enjoyed
Amazing.
it. Like
Life is with
absolutely
nothing without hiccups.
Absolutely, that's
Amazing.
part of the whole.
So, is this your first pop-up?
No, I've done a few before, but maybe my first really big pop-up, I would say. I've done supper clubs, I've done pop-ups, I've done private events, I've curated menus for restaurant, but this was slightly bigger than what I'm used to.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And Bombay, of course.
Bombay, yeah, that was one of my, or like one thing ticked off the list,
Yeah,
kind
and
of.
people loved the day we posted about you.
Yes.
People were just
Thank
raving
you.
about being part of it. I think a lot of people outside of Bombay wanted to come, but
Thank
unfortunately
you.
couldn't
Thank you. No,
make it. It's amazing that we finally pulled it off.
Absolutely.
So let's start talking about your journey as a chef.
Yes.
You know, from a home cook,
Yes.
passion of starting to cook.
Yes.
You know, when did that passion actually start?
So, you know, I genuinely feel that I was born to be a chef, and I think as maybe from a very young age, from the age of 10, I was always in the kitchen. It's just that probably born and brought up in a family that didn't understand what I should have been. Because my mother was a teacher, my dad was an engineer, so for them education and going to like a university was a very big deal. Even today, when like I've made quite a name for myself, I worked very hard to get here. But even today, if I tell my dad about what I'm doing, his first thing is, you know, anyone can cook, but you should write a book. So because he is himself very, you know, he writes, and so they were very keen that I should study and I should do my PhD, and so it's just the way things panned out. But I feel that life kind of brings you
Where you belong.
Yeah, absolutely. So I had to come to food because I was born to do this.
So where are you from, and tell us more about your background as a family.
Yeah.
And tell us more about what you learned before becoming, you know, a cook.
So I belong to Dehra Dun, and that's where, I mean, my husband and I both are from Dehra Dun. We met in school.
Wow.
We met when we were in class 9th. And my parents, of course, we belong to a very small city, and my grandmother lived close to where we used to live. So a lot of my food is influenced by my grandmother, because she was a fabulous cook. My mother was very busy. She was teaching, but she had a very demanding job. So I grew up in my grandma's home a lot. So that's why my cooking is a lot like hers. And sorry, what else did you ask me?
No, so where are you from, and what did you study before pursuing professional cooking?
So I did my
now I can call you a professional cook.
Yeah. So I did my master's in English literature.
Amazing.
Yes, and I actually once Girish and I got married, we lived in 6 countries, and I did all kinds of jobs. I worked in PR, in HR, and I did a lot of things. I worked in a bank also in Toronto. I worked with Royal Bank, and I had to come back. Like when we moved to Abu Dhabi, like I was so clear in my head that I wanted to pursue something in the food industry, and I knew that I had it in me, but but I didn't know how to do it. So I literally just uh, started posting pictures on Instagram. This was 10 years back. I didn't know what to do, and there was so much inside me that I needed to get out. You know, that I had so much creativity, and I didn't have an outlet.
Amazing.
So someone just told me that why are you doing some very beautiful work? Just start posting pictures on Instagram. So I said, what is Instagram?
Yeah.
So this, social media. It was not a big deal then,
Yeah.
right?
Of
So I
course.
literally just started putting pictures out.
So 10
and
years ago, that's
Yeah,
2014.
and I was in
Wow.
Abu Dhabi. A year later, Kiran, I was working with some of the biggest brands in Dubai.
Amazing.
Work had just fallen in my lap. I don't know, I was food styling for brands. 6 of my hummus pictures were in Khalij Times.
Amazing.
Then they featured me again, six of my 6 more pictures. So I was everywhere. Like I was like, what is happening to me? Like this doesn't happen to me. Like I've
100%.
always struggled for everything. So I was like, wow. So rest is history.
So
like-
probably when you find your space and your ground and
Yeah.
you belong there,
Yeah.
everything comes to you.
Kind of course, even in this industry, I have worked very hard. Like it's not easy for, you have it in you, but unless you are a professionally trained chef, it's very hard to prove yourself.
100%. Always.
Yeah, people will not take you seriously.
You're always proving
Yeah,
yourself.
always. Even though you might be doing some of the best work on social media, they know you're good, but you'll never be good enough because you don't have that degree, or you've not come from like maybe a
Yeah.
So it took a long time for me. I remember that I told my husband that, you know what, I'm going to go to culinary school and I get a degree, and I really want to do this, and whenever I walk into a room, I want people to take me seriously. So I did go, and I spent a day, and I thought, okay, fine, now I'll go to. So it just happened that there was this restaurant launch, and I met this chef who was a very seasoned senior chef from Taj Hotels, and he knew about my work. And I told him, this is what I plan, and he said something which stuck with me. He said, what you have is a gift, and if you go to a culinary school, you're going to become like everybody else.
100%.
Because what you're doing is very different, and you just start believing in yourself, and you just have faith, and just go with the flow, and don't get into all this, because you'll just become like, you'll just fit into that box.
Probably some of the most successful businessmen haven't gone to school.
Yeah, absolutely.
And because most of them think out of the box.
Yeah,
They probably don't have a ceiling,
absolutely.
and which is what the
Yeah.
problem with most educational system is,
Absolutely.
which is what I see across the world,
Absolutely.
right? And I think that's a God-given gift, and I don't think.
Yeah. So
But funnily, I'll add to that point that I work with a lot of chefs who've been not trained,
Yes.
who are non-professional. I mean, I won't say non-professional.
I understood what
Home
you mean.
cooks who
Yes.
become celebrity chefs.
Yes.
So when we bring them into the kitchen, there's always like these chefs look at them that, oh, this guy just became famous.
Yeah, and they think they
and then-
know.
But funnily, some of the best food I've eaten is with these home cooks who become great chefs,
Absolutely.
that's what I tasted today with you as well.
Thank you.
One more thing is that about your grandmom's cuisine, I mean, where you learned, this is probably the 50th chef I've been hearing about.
Yes.
That I've been inspired. Everyone says I'm inspired by my grandmother. And, I spent so much time with Marco, and he said that cuisine is still in people's homes.
Yes.
He's saying culinary is still in people's home, and more and more I hear from chefs like you that
Yes.
I learned from my grandmother.
Yes.
I believe the fact that cuisine is still in people's
Yeah,
homes.
no.
And those nuances is what I think I'm seeing on the
Yeah,
plate
because
today.
the food might look very modern, contemporary, but it has a soul which obviously has been passed on to me from generations. And I read this beautiful quote. I can't recall exactly, but it said that when I am cooking in the kitchen, so many generations are behind me in my fingers.
Amazing.
Which
right?
is so powerful, because that's
Yeah.
true, because it's been passed on to us somehow, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the Indian vegetarian? Because you're a plant-forward chef.
Yes.
Uh, Veganism, vegetarianism is finally growing and
Yes.
growing from strength to strength.
Right.
What do you think of is the power of Indian vegetarian, vegan-forward food?
We have so much potential, which I feel is so underutilized because our food is beautiful. And every part of the country, whether you go to Maharashtrian cuisine or Bihari food, or even you go to Meghalaya or
South India.
South India or Bengal, we have so much beautiful vegetarian food that has not even been tapped into. And the only thing, if you go anywhere, people will know is butter chicken or they'll know aloo gobi, but they don't know how much we have. And we have so much vegan food. Like Maharashtrian food is 90% vegan food. Which,
Wow,
yeah,
really?
yeah, they'll use so much of chickpea flour, like besan, they use so much of sprouts, but people don't talk much about it. And what I feel is that it is not even it is our responsibility to bring it to people. And when I started, I remember 10 years back, it was not done. Like, people were not using colors, and I remember people used to tell me Indian food is very brown. And
Yeah.
I never saw it like that. Like, for me, it was always vibrant because that's how I saw it. And I used to say, why do people say it's, and they even used to say that it's very hard to style Indian food. But for me, it was a breeze. You give me a
Beautiful, yeah.
plate and I'll put like a riot of colors. So I used to say, why do they say that? So I feel that we live in such a wonderful, vibrant country. And we have so much beautiful food and plant-based food. Oh my God, no country in the world can do it like we do.
Nothing can,
right?
right? Yeah.
So
And also the thought process behind it, like a simple thing like an idli.
yes,
How well it's fermented, and it takes care of your gut.
Absolutely.
Your, it's such a simple,
Such a simple thing.
and you kind of
Yeah.
mix it with these chutneys and becomes
absolutely a
beautiful
complete
flavors on your
meal.
mouth.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not complex like doing a sourdough or a charcuterie. It's so simple. It's
Really,
so
really
wholesome.
simple, yeah.
Yeah.
So are you saying that it's your responsibility as a chef to promote India as what it is
Yes.
to the globe? That's what I see as you being a brand ambassador
Absolutely.
of that space. Because
Absolutely.
when I saw your food today, it was colorful, it was flavorful, it was exciting, and
Yes.
and more and more people like chefs like you,
Yes.
I see Indian food going global,
Yes.
and in a very beautiful way.
Yes.
Of course, avocado is great, but
Yes.
but we have many other things which Indian
True.
food has to
True,
offer.
True.
Awesome. So tell us more about where is talking about people, children,
Yes.
children's food. How passionate are you about doing children's food, especially with all the diabetes, the kind of food culture,
Yes.
global culture which I
Yes,
see people
yes.
eating different kinds of
Yeah.
junk food.
Yeah.
What do you promote to your kids? You got two beautiful kids.
Yes.
Congratulations, and
Thank
lovely
you.
to know that. But
Thank you.
how do you promote? What is that dabba you put for them? That tiffin dabba you put
Yeah.
for them?
I'll tell you about my children. Like, I never consciously did it, but because we've never had a cook in the house, never. And
I can imagine.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
you being
And it sometimes it's very hard for me because I have to do so much. Like, I have
100%.
to
It's
handle
not-
my
it's not
work.
easy, yeah.
I have to run a household. My husband has a very demanding. He's always had a very demanding job, so it was just too much on my plate. But my children just refuse to eat. Every time we've tried that we'll have a cook, nobody will eat. The cook only takes all the khana. So I think what I did was that even if I was doing a pasta, because I don't consciously do it, but I use so much vegetables in my food, and I use them very creatively that my kids, like, I would use pumpkin in a sauce, and I remember my little one would ask me, what is this? I used to say, that's a cheddar sauce, because it looked the same, and that's what they ate growing up. So they are so used to it now that they themselves are making so many meals using a lot of vegetables. And when they go to school and now, of course, my little one is 13, so he takes a tiffin and it's got all kinds of colorful stuff and edamame, and then there'll be vegetables, or there'll be all kinds of vegetables in his tiffin. Even the pasta sauce is made with vegetables. He proudly eats it, he enjoys
Talks
it.
about it.
Yes, yes.
So how did you inculcate that in them? Is it because they saw you making things, or was it like, you know, said that, hey, you got to do this? What is that
No, I
process?
never said that. We were cooking from the beginning. Like ever since they are babies, they've been eating my food. So I don't think they knew anything different. Like they enjoyed it. Like suppose if you think about me, I grew up eating vegetables and things like karela and all. So it's not a big deal for me to, but my kids won't eat it because we never made it for them, right? So they eat my food and they are happy eating vegetables now, because they've eaten ever since they were babies. I think what we do wrong is that we don't give them when they're little, and then when they grow up we expect them to eat zucchini and broccoli and loki. But since I've been giving them ever since they're babies, it's kind
It's
of
very
like
a part of
second
their
nature
system.
to them. Like they know that this is so good, why will I not have it?
What is your indulgence when you eat? Have you ever firstly eaten non-vegetarian food? Or
No,
never.
I've been
Is it from the family?
Yes, I've grown up in a vegetarian home.
Okay.
We ate eggs, but I've never had. I cannot eat.
Yeah. Non-veg,
no,
right?
no.
So what is indulgence for you? What's that meal you'd want to eat personally, not for anyone else? Yeah.
Personally, I'd love to eat like maybe like a.
What will you feel bad after eating?
I think maybe
Tell
a
me more.
dessert,
Like
a
what?
tiramisu or something. And I love panna cotta. Like I
Crave
love.
for it?
Yeah, that's one dessert I absolutely love. No, not panna cotta. Sorry, creme brulee.
Creme brulee, oh
Yeah,
my God.
that's my guilty pleasure. Like I cannot resist it. I'm not a very like I don't cheat much. I like to eat clean, and I have had a lot of health issues, so I learned to be very a clean eater. But that's one dessert, and I remember when my husband worked with Four Seasons in Boston, we would go to the Four Seasons. They had this flat bowl with all the nicely torched panna cotta with vanilla bean.
Creme brulee,
like the
sorry.
Yeah, the creme brulee.
I don't know why panna cotta.
I don't know why I keep
Looks
calling
like you want to get a panna cotta.
No,
as well.
I don't actually. I know why I'm calling it. Yeah, that's my guilty pleasure.
So what is your style? What do you call your style of cooking? I mean, I saw a meze platter.
Yes.
I saw some great dal.
Yes.
Some beautiful rotis.
Yes.
Fulkas with
Yes.
sardo fulkas.
Yes.
What is the style of cooking Surabhi is doing?
Yeah.
If I want to say like maybe in a sentence, what's
Yes.
your style of cooking?
So,
And why are you doing that style?
yeah.
Yeah.
It just comes to me because as I said that I belong to a family of some really great cooks, and I've also traveled a lot. So you will see a lot of my
Inspiration from your
yes,
travels.
yeah. I also lived in UAE for a long time, and I love Arabic food. I love Indian food. So it's not like I'm making an effort. I'm using the ingredients which are really beautiful and vibrant, because Arabic food is very vibrant and Indian food is very delicious. So I just feel that we could combine that freshness with our cuisine and bring out the best of the two.
So you can call yourself a global Indian Arabic chef.
Yeah, maybe.
A person from India
Yeah,
or Indian origin
yeah.
cooking Arabic food.
Yes.
What would you put on your, like, say now,
Yes.
finally you have to write a book, of course. Your dad's
I
going to
did
be really
actually.
happy. Oh, really?
Yes,
So
yes.
what are you going to say on that line, that which defines Surabhi Sehgal?
I want to be defined as a person who just put out very, I'm a vegetarian and I find very hard to get good food when I go out. So I really want everyone to go out and enjoy a great meal. I want people to know that plant forward, vegetarian, clean food is delicious and good
100%.
for you. And that's the only thing I want to be known for, that you go out and you say, wow. And I met someone today who told me the same thing. She said, I ate to my heart's content. I don't feel heavy.
I mean, yeah, same.
Yeah.
I
She said,
agree.
I ate so much and I could eat more. That's what.
So, that's amazing. What is that myth you'd like to break about Indian vegetarian food to tell the world that,
Yeah.
this is it?
Yeah.
This is the kind. What's that myth one? Is there a myth
Yeah, there is a myth. One myth is that it is very unhealthy. Like they think Indian veg food is dal makhani.
Correct.
And the second myth is that it's very boring, like Loki.
Yeah.
But there's no in between, I feel. That they don't think that it is exciting, it is delicious, it is as good as a non veg meal, or even better. And I've had people who've come to my house and they say, I don't touch beetroot, I will not touch. And they've had 3 helpings of the beetroot koftas or the raita that I make. So I just want to break the myth that it's not unhealthy and it's not boring. It is exciting, it's beautiful, it's vibrant, it's delicious, it's clean, it's everything that you want it to be.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So how do you develop a dish? Just for someone who wants to, get into this whole, I mean, there are 2 questions
Yeah.
attached to this. One is developing a dish.
Yes.
Second is how do you take that dish into social media? Because you're very popular on social media. Like everyone who kind of signed up were your fans and they went gaga to come and meet you, eat with you. How do you firstly create this dish? And second is how do you promote it as an for
Yeah.
someone who's an enthusiast who want to.
So this comes very naturally. I do not develop a dish.
Okay.
I'll suppose if I'm looking at an ingredient and I've had a meal somewhere, I get inspired. If you even at this very minute you tell me that these are the ingredients, I can come up with 30 dishes right now. It's a gift. It's not
Amazing.
something that I'm making it up or I make an effort. Even if I'm having a pasta, something from there will inspire me. My husband knows that I'll be sitting and I'll be saying, oh, you know what, I can do this. I have so many recipes in my
Ideas.
head. I've written a book also which I want to come up with. I have so much in my head. Like, it's very easy for me to come up with recipes. And social media, yes, we do. I became, I won't say famous, but
Popular.
I'm a much, they love me because I've been very real. And people connect with me because I've also shared a lot about my personal life. They know my struggles. I've not hidden, like I've not been a fake person.
Amazing.
Yeah, so people connect me. Even the people who came here today, a lot of people said that we don't know you yet we know you.
Of course. Through your.
Yeah, they know me very well. Like they know what the kind of social media is a place where people will only connect with you if you show your real
True
side to
self.
them. Yeah.
And also if they can relate to that real side. Your your trials, your
Absolutely.
struggles and your
Absolutely.
success. And
Yeah, so it's been 10 years, Kiran. Like you
Amazing.
cannot fake it for 10 years. You have, it's an everyday thing for me. Like I am there. You have to show up. It's like a real job.
How much time do you spend on social media? Who shoots for you, and how much time does one have to spend on a profession like this? Because there are a lot of people who are going to watch you, who
Yeah.
are inspired by you. I want them to know how much
Yeah.
time does it take to put like a really lovely video together.
Yeah. So no one shoots for me.
Yeah.
Everything
Amazing.
that you see, everything. So I cook, I style, I shoot,
That's unreal.
I develop, everything is done by me. A lot of people don't believe it. They think I have a
I
team.
don't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't
But
believe
if you came home and you saw the whole, everything is done by me. And I am I'm a person who doesn't understand technology at all.
My God.
So we were doing Instagram. That's why you won't see me on YouTube because I don't like to be on camera. So Instagram was a perfect medium for me because it was all about my food. And I didn't
Amazing.
want to be known for me. I wanted to be known for my food. It was a very conscious decision that I didn't want to be famous. I wanted people to love my food.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I do everything alone. And when Instagram moved from a picture format to a video format, it was extremely hard for me, that patch, because I didn't know what to do. I did not want to dilute my work by getting in videographers because then it will be their personality, and I
Yeah.
wanted my feed is little
Yeah,
people
yeah.
connect because it's not like
It's written by you.
yeah,
It's
and
completely
it
yours.
might not be perfect. The colors might not be perfect because I'm editing myself. But people see that this person is making an effort every day to show up, and
Yeah.
so it's just me.
That's amazing. So for people who are listening, that you can become popular because
Yes.
of your true self.
Yes.
Create real content.
Yes.
Be real to people who are listening to you, and This is why your success is
absolutely. And be
to follow.
kind, you know. It's also
Yeah.
real world. I've seen like on social media.
Do people troll you? Because I don't
Yeah,
know.
they do.
They do?
They
Wow,
do.
I
They
want to
do.
hear that.
Yeah, so
Please tell
like
me more about your
they
people
do.
trolling you of all the people.
No, no, they
Wow.
do, because I remember, especially when you do like I'd done a regional recipe, like a soul curry,
Ah, correct. Yeah.
and I had twisted the recipe a little bit, and that was my first experience. Like the reel went viral, and that was also my first reel that got viral. And then everybody was like, "You, why did you put beetroot? Why did you temper it? Like you've ruined our food, and how
Oh
dare
my
you?"
God.
And I was like, "Oh my God!" Like it really
Are they
affected
passionate,
me.
so passionate
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that
people can
recipe?
get really, really, because those are not the people who follow you. Also,
Of
those are
course, yeah.
random people who will.
Generally, you want to.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
But it's also, I mean, I would always take,
Yeah.
trolls as a
Now,
positive because, uh, people are
yeah.
worried that you're getting more famous.
Yeah, but now we are used to it. Like there will always be on every video some trolling will happen. And
Really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Like if
That's
like the
interesting.
recently I put like a green thali, and people will write funny comments and they say that what is
Do you
it?
read your comments?
Yeah, I reply to every comment.
Oh my God, you're
That is
still
what
emotional about the
yeah,
trolls.
yeah, yeah. No, trolls I will not comment
Correct.
unless
Makes sense.
unless
Makes
it's just
sense.
something that really affects me. Which it doesn't affect me anymore. I don't get trolled a lot, honestly, very little.
That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. I was surprised.
Yeah, no, it'll happen if I'm doing like a if I've now I'm very careful with regional recipes because I know
Okay.
people are very
Passionate about it.
passionate. Like it's their mothers and
It
grandmothers.
doesn't matter,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe that a recipe is a recipe.
No, you know, if I do it,
Unless there's a story to tell,
yeah.
it's your story.
Yeah.
It's
No,
nobody else's
what I
story.
realized was that you need to write that inspired by soul curry. Don't write.
Soul curry.
So
You can
now,
say soul,
yeah.
probably.
No, trust me, you don't.
Is
know.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Luckily, I don't cook and I don't write, so I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Awesome. What do you think of modern Indian cuisine? How do you relate to that word, modern Indian culinary? The whole world is. I see a lot of Michelin star chefs coming down. I mean, doing some,
Yeah.
amazing food. What do you think of that modern Indian cuisine?
You know, I don't judge anybody, honestly. I
Yeah.
feel that food is an expression,
Yeah.
and every chef, every person, not even chef, every person has a right to express it the way they want. My only problem happens when the food doesn't taste good.
Correct.
Yeah, you want to call it modern, progressive. Please let your food have a soul. Like just don't, because it's very hard to find food with a soul. That's my only thing.
No, what I saw different from your cooking and modern Indian cuisine, and a lot of restaurants are trying to do a little bit of modern cooking is, I mean, I don't know how, because Indian food, which is, I mean, that's the question again for you
Yes.
is, Indian food is about generosity,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And to put a small little dish on an Indian food
Yeah.
is not,
Yeah.
I can't accept it because
Yeah.
how can you plate dal
Yeah.
apart from putting it in a beautiful bowl?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what's your take on that?
That I also don't like.
Yeah.
I don't want like tiny portions of food. I want to enjoy a meal. I want to
Generosity,
enjoy it with
right?
my
We
we are
we're generous.
Indians.
Those people,
When someone comes home, we feed them till they are like stuffed,
Full
and that
and
is our
yes, absolutely.
I agree with that.
So if Surabhi Sehgal has to open a restaurant, what kind of a restaurant would you open? Because I've been getting messages, we've been getting a lot of messages on my personal DM, World on a Plate, from people from around the world, whether it's Europe, America, Australia, asking questions about modern vegetarian food,
Yes.
clean food.
Yes.
What kind of a restaurant would you open?
If I could open a space of my own, it would definitely have a lot of Indian regional food. Of course, progressive, modern, with a lot of fresh ingredients, clean ingredients, great food, very vibrant. But at its soul, the food has to be real. Like when you eat, of course, it will be a very vibrant, beautiful plate of food. But when you eat it, it should remind you of your grandmother's food.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Lovely. So similar to Asma,
Yes, Asma Khan.
Asma Khan's London, where she,
Yeah.
I mean, a very inspiring story of how she picked up all the
Yes.
chefs from Calcutta. I
And
mean,
her friends, she literally opened with her
with their
friends.
friends. So for organic and
Yes, yes.
you
I
know,
think people connected with her food because of this, because it was so real and so beautiful, and from a home,
seamless, right?
yeah,
Very seamless.
from a home supper club to a restaurant in London.
What do you think about, women in kitchens?
I
Because
feel, yeah.
of course, I just interviewed my assistant culinary director at
Yes.
World in a Place. She's a woman in the kitchen. How are you guys treated? I mean, it's funnily a professional kitchen is a man's world,
Yes, it is.
while a home kitchen is a woman's world.
Yes, true, true.
How do you guys feel in that space, and what do you think should be the,
Yeah.
what any thoughts on it?
Yeah. Kiran, quite honestly, when I started to where I am today, I find a big change. Also, I feel because people's mindset has changed. From my first pop up to now, like this, I find that chefs are, they are very respectful. And if they know, also I feel that this is what my observation is, that they take a little time to observe you. If they think that you know your stuff, they will respect you. But if they think that, yeah, she can't handle it. And this pop-up, we had to cook for 70-80 people, and every dish was cooked by me. Of course, I had a lot of help from your team, from the Jolie's team, but every dish was cooked by me. And I know that chef was looking at me. He knew if I didn't know my stuff, he wouldn't have respected me. He wouldn't have let me, because this is his show.
Correct.
He can't let me ruin the show.
100%.
So I feel that if you know your job, if you're good at what you do, you will get the respect.
Irrespective of gender.
Irrespective,
and
no, yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. Unless, of course, he is some person who's some.
100%.
Yeah.
Awesome. So one very, very important reason I'm doing a podcast is rather two critical reasons. One is my kind of passion to feed the hunger, because
Yes.
India is a very, very vibrant and the country is very generous in terms of, we've got beautiful farmers, we've got great produce, and we still are like top 100, we're 100 plus on hunger index.
Yes.
That means the 100th most hungry country in the world.
Yes.
So what would your advice be for chefs, because they are the drivers of they're cooks basically, right? They're cooking and feeding the people. What would your advice be for cooks?
Food waste. There is so much food waste in kitchens. I work in enough kitchens and more without taking any names. Please stop wasting food. There is so much wastage.
Especially in events, right?
Events, oh my God, like why are you throwing food? There is staff, there is, whenever food is left, there's so many hungry people. Why are you not feeding them? Why is it going in the bins? It's good food, it's not like rotten food. Why are we throwing away food, ingredients? Why are we not utilizing it? Why are we not helping people?
When you can fly down a celebrity, you can spend a little more time organizing, distributing that food.
Absolutely.
Get someone to help you distribute it.
Absolutely. Run like a Seva kitchen. I don't know. Like you can do so many initiatives.
Distribute. It's very easy. Distribute the food.
We are a country where people are hungry. We are literally a country where people need food. It's not like a
There's some 101 in hunger index.
Absolutely. Why are we? What gives us a right to throw the food in the bin?
Even hotels, right?
So much wastage.
Because hotels have this rule which says that you can't give your food because it comes out of it.
Absolutely.
What's your advice to them?
No, I would say please, please don't throw food. We don't have a right to throw food. There are people who need the food. Nobody's going to get sick with good food. Don't throw it. Just run initiatives in your kitchen. And there's also I don't want to name, but I worked I did a pop-up somewhere where they were literally throwing good ingredients when those ingredients could easily be used even in a staff cafeteria.
100%.
Like cherry tomatoes, or there was like some vegetables which they just chucked like why? I find it so difficult to see that. Like
Digest
don't do,
that.
yeah, don't do that. Use it. Like if I had a cafe or a restaurant of my own, I would use and even in my home, I don't throw
Like running your
anything.
house, right?
Yes,
Similar to that.
absolutely. I remember even in Jolie's, I remember I was tempering and I was using every scrape of that tempering, and chef
Amazing.
was like, "You're doing it like you do at home." I said, "But I don't want to waste." Yeah.
I think that's where the whole story of a lady from a home kitchen
Yes.
progressing towards.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest
Yeah.
progression I can see.
Absolutely.
Because if you can pick up the best of what you do at home
Yes. Yes.
and marry it with what
Yeah.
you can do in a professional
Yes,
kitchen,
yes.
that's amazing, right?
Absolutely.
And that's what
Absolutely.
cuisine is headed towards.
Absolutely. We all have a responsibility, Kiran.
100%.
If I am in a position to I have a certain following on Instagram, and I feel it's
Yeah,
my
100% in a position,
responsibility to
yeah.
do the right thing. Even to be honest with you, on social media, it's very difficult for a person like me to make a name, because I'm literally promoting vegetables while people are doing
Yeah.
cakes and
Everything,
bakes and
yeah.
chole bhature, and they're
Everything.
doing street food. What am I doing? I'm doing vegetables. But I've never like deviated from that with the thought ki okay, let me become famous. I've always done the right thing. And
Because you
that
love it,
I love it. And I don't want to promote something wrong.
Amazing.
But it's worked for me. Yeah.
So one last question before we go away. Been beautiful talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks
Same,
for being
same.
part
Thank
of this
you. Yeah.
conversation. Advice to the new generation. Starting off from your sons who are
Yes.
cooking. I hear that they are,
Yeah, they are really-
making a meal,
they're cooking
creating
fab
some
meals.
amazing food. To the new generation of the industry and hospitality professionals,
yes.
what's your advice?
So I'll just say be real, keep it real, be yourself. Don't run behind things like trying to be famous or trying to do things because others are doing. Just listen to your inner voice and just follow your path. I mean, everybody has a different path. You can't just say okay, she
Copy
is doing,
someone
yeah,
else's
yeah.
path.
Just stick to what you feel you are meant for.
Amazing.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Been a pleasure,
you.
and
Thank you.
hopefully we catch up with the next, chef or someone from the food and beverage industry at Kaapi with Kiran, and hope you guys are having a good time listening to these amazing real life conversations. See you on the next one.